of a girl in Louisiana. Though I'm out on the highway, my thoughts are still with her. Such a strange combination of a woman and a child. Such a strange situation, stopping every 100 miles, calling Baton Rouge.
Hey everybody, welcome to SEC Weekly, and we are back again with another preview for Week 7 of the SEC football season, and I'm excited about these upcoming games for Week 7, guys, and to talk about them and to just dive right in on some of the matchups we have. We have some top 25 matchups. We have just some matchups on paper that look like they could be really good games. So we'll dive right into that. I'm gonna go and get Haden on here, and before I get him on here, I want everybody to know that we are bringing on Kolt Haley today. We have changed our schedule somewhat, and we are actually going to bring on Ty Pritchard another week, hopefully next week, and definitely get him on here soon. So Kolt Haley, I'm excited to bring him on. He's a good friend of mine. So we'll get Haden in here, and then we'll bring on Kolt. So thanks for listening, guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the show.
Ty.
Buddy, how you doing?
Doing good.
How was the beach?
It was good.
You still there, though, aren't you?
No, I'm at home.
Oh, my goodness, he's at home already. Well,
Flew.
I thought you were coming live with us from the beach, man.
Nope.
Well, that's kind of a letdown, but that's all right. I'm excited to get into this stuff, man. I'm sitting here looking, bro, at these ticket prices for these SEC games. Did you know you could go right now to see Vanderbilt and UNLV for $2?
That's shocking, but at the same time, not really shocking.
$2.
You pay. You know the old thing. You pay for what you get, and Vanderbilt's about a $2 team.
Both 1 and 4, man. I mean, they're probably handing out tickets down there.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, man. Well, let me get Kolt in here, and we'll get cracking.
All right.
Kolt, you there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
What's up, man? How you been?
I've been all right. How you been?
Good. Welcome to the show, man. I'm excited to have you on here.
Yeah, I appreciate covering it.
Hayden's on here. Hayden, introduce yourself.
Kolt, this is Haden from SEC Weekly. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing all right.
It's good to hear.
Haden, dive right in, man. Let's get going.
Guys, we've got through the downtime, and we're now to some good matchups. Coming in at number 5 this week, we've got Mississippi State going on the road to Tennessee. Number 4, we've got Ole Miss at Missouri. Number 3, South Carolina at third-ranked Georgia. Number 2, we've got number 1, Alabama, going on the road to College Station to play 24th-ranked Texas A&M. And our top game of the week, 7th-ranked Florida at 5th-ranked LSU. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Ty, you want to go ahead and start us Mississippi State and Tennessee?
Man, I hope I don't take too much time on this because I could talk about this for a while. It's hard for me it's hard to talk about a home team and not waste all of your talk time on it, but I'll try to be short and sweet as much as I can. So finally, I'm sitting here looking at this screen, and I'm finally sitting here looking at a game that I think is winnable, and I'm talking about from UT's side. By looking at it, I think the FPI on it is 65% of people are leaning towards Mississippi State, which, you know, I thought it would be less than that. But I think Tennessee is I think it's time for a win. And I mean, I'm not saying that. I think that this team is just, they're so hungry for a win, and it's gonna come down to, they have a new quarterback that they're behind. They're playing at home. They're playing a team that they don't play that often, which I think, as crazy as it sounds, really helps the team because you're excited to play somebody new. But I really like Tennessee in this game. I really do. I think that Brian Maurer, he's not scared to throw the ball around. I don't think he's going to be too worried about making mistakes. Which, side note, I think that's one of Garantano's biggest flaws. Is I think he's scared to throw the ball downfield sometimes, and it ends up hurting him in the long run. But I mean, all in all, man, I don't think Mississippi State, other than their running back Kylan Hill, I don't think other than him they have anything that's too threatening of a offense. I mean, aside from their running back. So Tennessee can figure out how to stop the run. I like their chances in this game. So I'm going to take the Vols. I do not think Mississippi State covers. I think the Vols win in a close one. Give me the Vols 24-21.
All right, Colt, you're up.
All right. Yeah, I like what Ty said about Tennessee having to stop the run. Obviously, Kylan Hill, Mississippi State, obvious offensive weapon. You're going to have to watch out for the quarterback, though. He's been known to scramble, and he's a big dude. And when he gets moving, he's hard to stop. I think if Tennessee can not only stop Kylan Hill and get the quarterback, I think they got a shot too. I agree with Ty. I think Tennessee can win this one, and I think Mississippi State being an opponent they don't play a lot does help them. And I really, for me, man, Tennessee, they're so on and off, and I think for them it's going to come down to if they show up ready to play. Because if they come in like they came against Georgia, they can contend with anybody in the SEC. I mean, you saw what they did against Georgia. But if they come out slow like they did against Georgia State, which I don't think will happen, I feel like it's easier to get up from Mississippi State. So that's the thing with Tennessee, man. It's such a hard prediction just because they're so on and off. But I'd have to agree. I think Tennessee wins this one. Score prediction, I'd take Tennessee 27-20, probably.
All right. Well, like Ty said, I could talk about this game for a while, but I'm going to try to keep it short. First off, when the schedule came out, the first person who called me was Austin King about this football game. Let me tell you, Austin. Let me tell you right now. Listen. The church bells are ding, ding, ding. It's Maurer hour. There's a new energy with this Tennessee team. The way they looked against Georgia in that first quarter, here's what happened. Against Georgia, they had that energy going. Tennessee was flying around, but Georgia's Georgia, and Tennessee's Tennessee. This is a team a Mississippi State team who couldn't compete with Kentucky, and Kentucky is pitiful, and got ran through by Auburn, which that was no shocker for me. But I think Maurer brings a new energy to the team, and Mississippi State just not very good. They're not very good at all. I think they might be one of the worst teams in the West besides Arkansas. I'm being dead honest. I mean, besides Hill, that's about the only guy they got. And I think if Tennessee really wants to come out here and win this game, they've got to stop Schrader from running the ball. I don't think he's that big of a threat throwing. He's a better runner than he is a thrower. And I think Pruitt's going to have his guys ready to stop Hill in the Mississippi State run game. I'm going to take Tennessee 28-21. Big SEC win for Tennessee to try to get a little bit of hope and maybe a light to continue the season, because you got to be looking around the locker room if you're UT and saying, hey, all right, guys, we're going to try to win more than 2 or 3 games. This is one we got to go out and win. So
they're currently making Maurer Hour T-shirts right now, dude.
Yeah, and by the way, Austin King is going to be blowing me up because all 3 of us picked Tennessee. We're not being homers, buddy. Every Saturday we tune in and watch. We're telling you what we see, and I tell you, man, Mississippi State is not very good.
They're mediocre at best. I mean, I think they're below average. I really do.
Yeah, and Pruitt does good against one-dimensional teams. We saw how he did against Kentucky last year. So.
Yep. That's a good point.
Let's move on to Ole Miss at Missouri. I guess I'll go ahead and start this one. Ole Miss, I'll start with them. The past 2 weeks, they have pounded the rock down everybody they played. They ran through Vanderbilt, which they should have, and they ran the ball well against Alabama. Although the defense has not been able to show up alongside the offense. And against Missouri, a team who very good on both sides of the football. Kelly Bryant will be, as of right now, he's fully active after injuring his knee on a dirty play against Troy. I don't know if any of y'all saw that play, but it was a cheap shot by Troy.
I can't believe he's playing Saturday.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. But hey, fighter's mentality for Kelly Bryant. He's very good. This is a good matchup on paper. Ole Miss has the fifth best offense in total yards in the conference. Missouri, fourth best in total offense. Missouri on paper has the best defense in the conference. I just think Missouri is going to be able to score more points, and I think they're going to be able to stop Ole Miss's run game. I think if you really got to test Plumlee through the air because he can run it, and he proved he could throw it a little bit against Alabama. Didn't only threw for 90 yards against Vanderbilt, but all I had to do was hand it off against them. There was, I think, multiple 70-plus yard runs against Vanderbilt. But
they gave up 30-plus points with a quarterback that didn't bust 100 yards in there.
Yeah.
That's insane. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just think Missouri is going to force them to throw it, and I don't think Plumlee's going to be able to throw it well enough to beat Missouri. I'm taking Ole Miss 35-20. Or excuse me, Missouri 35-20. My bad.
Missouri 35-20. All right,
Missouri.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't watched Missouri play at all actually this year. I've watched Ole Miss against Alabama a little bit. But I mean, you're looking at statistics. I think you're right about Ole Miss. I think you're gonna have to make them throw the ball. They ran the ball against Alabama, and Alabama's defense isn't what they usually are this year, but it's still Nick Saban's defense, and they put up, I think, 256 yards or something like that on them rushing.
Yeah.
Which is just unheard of against that team. So definitely can move the ball on offense. Kelly Bryant, we all know what he can do. Roundtree, the running back. Missouri's offense is really good too. I think it's going to come down, honestly. Is it in Missouri? Is the game in Missouri?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's going to play a big part of it. And then also, I think Missouri's defense is going to be able to stop Ole Miss's offense a lot better than Ole Miss's defense is going to be able to stop Missouri. I think you're going to see a high-scoring game. It's not going to look like an SEC score where it's 17-14. I think it's going to look more like a Big 12. I think it's going to be – I'm going to take Missouri 38 to Ole Miss's 31.
Well, guys, and Colt, you probably not heard this from me much, but I know Haden has. I'm so high on Missouri, and I'm almost as high on Missouri to say, and both of you know this, there is one game every year, even for the elite teams, that they go back and they think, man, how did we lose that game? Missouri's already had theirs. And I'm telling you guys right now, if at the end of the season, if the Georgia Bulldogs look back and think, man, the one game we didn't show up for was the Missouri game, it might cost them a trip to Atlanta. And number two, maybe a trip to the college football playoff. I think Missouri is good enough that if they can somehow beat Georgia, they can make it to the SEC title game. I really do. Do I think that's really going to happen? Who knows? But I think they have the talent to do it if Georgia doesn't show up. They can't just sleepwalk through that game. But I'm sorry, I just want to get that out of the way. As far as this game, I kind of think Missouri's going to really run away with this one early. I think Ole Miss, I think their quarterback is going to have a bad game. He's had two pretty good games, and I think this is the one where you see him being what he is, which is a new starter and a freshman, and I think he's a freshman. But I think this is the game he's going to struggle. And I got Missouri big. I think Kelly Brown's going to have a big game. Hopefully his injury's not as bad. Hopefully we don't see effects of it on the field this weekend. But I think Missouri's going to beat them handedly, 24-10.
All right. Let's move on to game number 3, South Carolina going on the road to Georgia. Ty, you go ahead and start us on this one.
Okay. South Carolina and Georgia, man. Georgia, it's hard to pick Georgia in any blowout games. It really is, because they're such a conservative football team that they rely on their talent so much that I think that it's just hard to pick them in blowout wins. However, I think they do handle South Carolina. I think Ryan Helinski's going to struggle against this defense. I think the first half against the UT game was a wake-up call for Georgia that, you can't just sleepwalk into games. I don't care who you're playing in this conference. You sleepwalk into games, you'll find yourself down. Georgia, who ended up beating Tennessee, obviously, they were down in that game. And I think it took them by surprise. We thought we could sleepwalk into this game, roll over UT, and then move on to the next week. But Tennessee was having none of it. And obviously the end of that game was Georgia in a big win. But I think they show up ready for this game and aren't going to sleepwalk into it at all. However, I don't like them to win by more than 23.5. Just a lot of points for me. I think they beat South Carolina, but I think South Carolina hangs around just because of play calling. Nothing more than that, in my opinion. But give me the Dogs, and I'll take Georgia. 28-17.
All right, Colt, go ahead and go.
All right. I really like what Ty said about Georgia, how they probably saw they were vulnerable. They didn't know they were vulnerable. They saw that against Tennessee, and I think that might have been a little bit of a wake-up call. But you flip it on the other side, I think South Carolina might have seen some places in Georgia's defense, especially in their defensive secondary, where there's some holes. And I know they have a true freshman quarterback in Ryan Helinski, but Bill Muschamp's done really well with him. And if you look at the game, if you watch the South Carolina versus Alabama game, and I know that was in Columbia, but there was a lot of plays. That game should have been closer. There was 2 plays, the fake punt, and then the run right before halftime of that game, where South Carolina should have had 2 touchdowns. That game should have been much closer. I think Georgia's defense is better than Alabama's defense, but South Carolina had that in a game. It wouldn't surprise me if it looks a lot like the Tennessee-Georgia game did in the first half, but South Carolina keeps it closer for longer. They're just they're a more stabilized program than Tennessee is. They've got more players. Muschamp's been there a little bit longer. I think that game's close. I'm not going to go out on a limb as much to say South Carolina wins that game. I think they keep it close though. I think Georgia wins that game. I'm gonna say Georgia wins that game probably 27-23. But that's going to be a really close game. That'll be a sleeper game to watch. I feel like a lot of people are writing South Carolina off. I think that game's close though.
All right. Georgia, I just think they're too conservative a team to blow anybody in the SEC out. They proved that. But they're coming off a big win against Tennessee. Fromm actually threw the ball downfield and threw for over 200 yards. Almost got 300. I think it was 288 he threw for. But on South Carolina side, Helinski played good against Alabama. I just don't see him being able to play good against Georgia. I think Georgia's defense is better than Alabama's is, and there's not enough defense really to stop. For South Carolina having a good enough defense to stop Georgia. Georgia's run game. I mean, Georgia's run game is the best in the country. I would put it up there with anybody's. If anyone has a better run game than Georgia, please call me or Ty Myers and tell us who has a better run game than Georgia in the country. I think Georgia's run game might be better than Green Bay's running game.
Hey, we're talking about NFL teams on this channel.
Okay, my bad. But hey, it's a game that I just think South Carolina is going to be able to come and compete in, and I'm thankful that I don't have to pick any blowout this week. I'm going to take Georgia 35-17. I think South Carolina is going to be able to hang around in this one.
Well, I mean, I like that pick. I think all three of us have South Carolina sticking around. I don't think Georgia plays. I don't think Georgia throws enough balls, 50-50 balls. I don't think they throw enough long passes to blow anybody out that's even worth anything. But yeah, I mean, I think South Carolina's gonna stay in the game. I really do.
Yeah. Georgia's offense isn't explosive enough to have a 23-point win over really anybody in the country.
Well, I said it in the preview, guys. Like it. I mean, I was sitting there watching that game last week, the Tennessee game, and I was like, they're going to run it here. They're going to run it here again. Now they're going to throw it. They're going to run it here. They're going to run it here again. And now they're going to throw it. I'm just thinking to myself, like, once you start playing these defenses that are going to make you play, like, they'll catch on to that. And I hate it. I hate it because it makes Jake Fromm look like an amateur. And I don't want to say Jake Fromm is good, and I don't want to say Jake Fromm is bad. I feel like Jake Fromm is somebody we don't even know about yet. Like, imagine Jake Fromm in a Cliff Kingsbury offense. Like,
yeah. It would be fun to watch.
It would be, because you don't really know what's going to happen. Like,
right. And
go ahead.
The thing is, I talked to Georgia fans and just other people, and some people say that they think Jake Fromm is going to be the greatest quarterback in Georgia history. Like, I've heard multiple people say that, and then others say that it's frustrating to watch because they know what's there, but they just don't feel like he's being used right. And I agree with that. I just don't. I think the potential's there for him to be very, very good, but it's just so conservative, the offense that they're in. And as a Georgia fan watching that, I would just be very frustrated knowing that what we had and just not using it.
Dude, Matt Stafford's the GOAT. He ain't getting touched.
Yeah.
What's next?
Alabama and Texas A&M. Colt, you can go ahead and start us on this one.
Awesome. Yeah, this one's interesting. It's in College Station, so you naturally want to be like, well, Texas A&M, and you take like the Johnny Manziel days. You're like, they're going to have them in a game. I'm here to tell you that's not going to happen. Texas A&M defense is really going to get exposed this weekend. Auburn hung 27 or 28 points on them, and we just saw what Auburn did against Florida and, kind of croaked. Alabama's offense is the best offense that I have ever seen in college football. I haven't been watching college football as long as some of the old heads, but their offense is nuts. When Najee Harris is your fifth, when he's your fifth option, that's a great offense. They're going to go in there. Tua's going to do what he does. He's going to throw for 300-something yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns. I mean, they're going to go in there and they're going to dominate. Alabama's defense isn't what they're used to. I could see Kellen Mond. He might make a couple of plays. Texas A&M might make a little noise on offense maybe late and maybe get 20 points on them, kind of like South Carolina did, but it's not going to matter because Alabama's going to have 50. I mean, I'm looking for a big day of Jerry Jeudy. I feel like he's been quiet lately. Devontae Smith had a big game against Ole Miss. Henry Ruggs had a big game against Southern Miss. Jerry Jeudy, the best wide receiver, in my opinion, in the country, has been relatively quiet as of late. I think he breaks out in this game. I think he has a huge, huge game. I'm going to take Alabama in this one. I'm going to take Alabama. I said they'd score more than 50. I'll be generous because it's in College Station. I'll say Alabama wins this one 49 to 20. 49-20 Alabama.
All right. I'll go next. Alabama, the offense has been lights out. I mean, it's been very fun to watch them.
51 a game, guys. 51 a game.
It's been fun to watch, just sit back on the couch on the weekends, just flip on Alabama and just watch them splatter everyone they play. I mean, just it looks like 7-on-7. I mean, it's insane. Tua is unbelievable. His receivers are insane. I mean, like I said, Jerry Jeudy's been quiet, and that's crazy to think about. But you look at the numbers Devontae Smith's put up, and Ruggs, how good he's been. They've got to clean it up on defense, though. That's the biggest concern right now for Alabama is their defense, and I think they're going to be able to come to play. On A&M side, Kellen Mond, he's got to be able to take care of the football. He's proven he can throw it, but he's turned the ball over in 4 of his last 5 games, which is crucial when you're playing against Alabama. You cannot give them any more opportunity than what they're going to have. And A&M just has not been able to run the ball. I think if A&M is going to keep this game close, they're going to have to let Kellen Mond use his legs. Late in that Arkansas game, Kellen Mond started running the ball a little bit better, and I liked how that offense looked. I think, especially after what Plumlee did against Alabama, I think Jimbo Fisher's got to know, hey, I think we need to let's get the legs involved with Kellen Mond, and let's go see if we can try to put up some points against an Alabama defense that is as vulnerable as it's been since I've been watching college football. And I think that it's got to be Kellen Mond using his legs so they're going to keep it close. But I don't think that A&M's going to be able to compete with this offense. I'm taking Alabama 42-20.
Okay, guys. Well, I'm on the other end of this than you guys.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I'm saying it.
Are you regretting it now?
No. This is the one game Alabama loses this year.
What?
I think. Listen.
What a statement.
Listen. Colt's statement was that A&M's defense is going to get exposed. Passing yards allowed on the year, Alabama 190, A&M 190. Rushing yards allowed on the year, Alabama 134, A&M 108. It's not going to be because of the defense. I don't think A&M's defense is going to get exposed, and I say that because I think Alabama's defense is just the exact same as A&M's defense. I don't think they're any different at all. However, Alabama does have a better offense. I'm not claiming they don't. They do have a lot better offense. But their offense is just – it's gotten to the point where I'm like, sooner or later, they're going to have a bad game. And, I'm sitting here looking down their schedule, and I'm thinking, if there is one bad place to play and have a bad game, it is a game at College Station. Because, you got LSU at home, which that's going to be your next toughest game. And then you got Auburn on the road, but I think Auburn's a joke. I don't think Auburn can compete. I think Auburn was found out last week. So, aside from those 2 games, the rest are cupcakes. Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Western Carolina. And I'm telling you right now, they're not going 12-0. I don't see it happening. I think they lose this game to a team that they are better than. I think they are significantly better than A&M offensively. But I think A&M finds a way this game. I think this is the one game, like I said earlier, that Alabama looks back on and thinks, man, we just didn't show up to play that game. And I think Alabama still makes the playoff with this loss. But I just think this is going to be their one game this year that they look back on and think, man, we just blew that one. And I think this game with a loss, if it does happen, I think this loss will mean a lot to them going to play LSU at home on November 9th. I think that'll make that game a lot more of a bigger game for Alabama, knowing that they already have a loss. So I know y'all think I'm crazy, but I just think this is the game that they're going to lose this year. And I know A&M has not looked like A&M normally does, but I think if there's a game for A&M to get hyped up and jumped up and crazy about, it's this one. So give me the Aggies by 3, 30-27.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't see Nick Saban losing off a bye week.
Well, after that, let's move on to the top game. 7th-ranked Florida. Yeah, and it doesn't sound that far-fetched, when you really think about it. It doesn't.
That's how I do things. I break them down.
Alabama's defense has struggled this year, and at some point it might bite them in the rear. Let's move on. 7th-ranked Florida going on the road to LSU. Ty, get us started.
Okay. Man, I tell you what, Florida's games this year have been like, when it rains in your yard and you go out to your yard and you're like, man, I need to mow, but I can't mow because there's puddles everywhere, and you're just like, man, this is terrible. That's about how Florida's games have been. I mean, like, if you're not a Florida fan, you're sitting there midway through the second quarter thinking, how did I get, like, this is terrible. And it baffles me, guys, that they are 5-0. Like, they have to be the worst 5-0 team on the planet. I mean, really, like, they're the worst 5-0 team I've seen in a while. I think they are finally going to get exposed. And when I say get exposed, I mean exposed. I mean, like, LSU. Okay, there is one quarterback that has as good, if not better, stats than Tua this year in the SEC, and his name is Joe Burrow, and he plays in Baton Rouge. And I'm telling you guys, Joe Burrow he's going to have a field day this game. I'm not saying that Florida has a bad defense, but LSU, and they showed last week that their defense can show up a little bit. They're going to show up to play, and Florida's defense is going to be on the field the whole daggum game. And I just see it getting out of hand. I mean, goodness, listen to these scores, guys. 55-3, 45-38, 65-14, 66-38, 42-6. They roll out of bed with 40. And I mean, I just don't, and they're at home in a night game at Baton Rouge. God, Florida don't have a chance in this game, y'all. A chance. Goodness gracious. Hudson, if you're listening to this, man, you might as well not watch this game. Give me the Tigers, and give me the Tigers big. I want to take the Tigers 48 to.
Oh my God.
13, 48-13. Yeah, 48-13.
All right.
You heard it here first.
Well, let me tell you, Ty, I agree with you, and I kind of don't. But there's two scenarios here.
I swear I'm not drinking tonight, guys.
That I see how this game is going to go, guys. First off, if you think that Florida's legit, it's so tough to tell. But first, I'll say this: They beat an Auburn team that had no business being ranked 7th in the country. I'll tell you that right now.
Preach.
Had no business, guys. Bo Nix looked like an absolute joke, and he proved we all got hyped. You know, back at the beginning of the year, back in September, everybody was all over me about how good Bo Nix was. Then he played good against Mississippi State, and I was like, you know what? I'll agree with everybody and their mother who's told me how good Bo Nix was. I said, fine. There you go. He threw for over 300 yards, went off against Mississippi State. I said, fine, he's a good quarterback. Rolls into the swamp and looks like a deer in the headlights. I mean, oh, my gosh. But we're not here to talk about Auburn. Florida did exactly what they should have done against that game, against that team. Here's
turn
the
the
deal.
ball over 9 times?
Well, yeah, they should have beat him. But here's the deal. Florida, you turn the ball over way too many times. LSU's defense isn't great, but if you turn the ball over half of how many times you turn it over against Auburn, which I can't remember how many times I turned it over off the top of my head, but just way too many turnovers. Kyle Trask, I don't know what they were putting on the footballs over there on the side. I mean, were they rubbing Vaseline on the balls over there, Trask? It was awful. It was pathetic. Every time he was getting touched, the ball was coming out. I mean, it was awful. You know, tuck it or something. Figure something out. LSU on the offensive side, I mean, like I said, they roll out there with 40. I mean, well, what else is there to say? Guys, either Florida shows up or they don't. I don't think Florida's going to show up. They're coming off a game that they had to put everything out there just to beat Auburn, and they beat Auburn in the sloppy one. They need Ryan to come out and run the ball if they're going to have any kind of chance. I think it's too much to put on Trask to go into Baton Rouge and try to win a football game by himself. And the run game for Florida's been very inconsistent this year, and it's a night game in Baton Rouge. As Rodney Myers once said, you never know what's going to happen in a night game in Baton Rouge.
That's so true.
People might be getting killed up in the stands for all we know. I mean, I tell you, it is insane what goes on down in Baton Rouge. Anything past 6 o'clock. What's the song? Can we insert the song, Garth Brooks? Oh, man, what's in my love? We're going to see my love down in Baton Rouge. I love that one. But anyways.
You already know I'm putting that on here.
Yeah, put that in here. Give me the Tigers. The Bayou Bengals, as Coach Joe like to say down there. I'm taking the Bayou Bengals 52 to 10. Give me the Bayou Bengals, baby. LSU is going to take it to Florida. Hudson, I'm sorry.
Oh my
God. Go ahead, Colt. Send us
Colt,
home.
I want you to top that, Colt. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. I think Florida. I feel like an idiot. I picked against Florida all season. I thought Miami was better than they are. Obviously, I was wrong. I thought Kentucky would do something with them, and they really had a shot and blew it. Being the homer that I am with Tennessee, I really thought we could give the Gators a shot down in the swamp. I was wrong. And I preached all week before that Auburn game talking about how Florida shouldn't be in the top 10. They're a bad team. I think they're fake. They're going to get exposed by Auburn, who's a real contender for the playoffs. And I was wrong again. Florida is going to go into Baton Rouge. Kyle Trask, he is very sloppy with the ball. Extremely, even against Tennessee, he was sloppy. And I think that's just him being experienced. I think he's going to go into Baton Rouge. LSU's defense is not up to par. Giving up 38 points to Vanderbilt is terrible, and Florida's offense is a lot better than Vanderbilt. Florida's going to go in there with Kyle Trask. I think they're going to play. I think they're going to play all right on offense, and I don't think it's going to mean a damn thing because LSU's offense is literally one of the best offenses in the country. LSU's going to go in there, and they're going to put up 40, 50 points on Florida's defense. And it doesn't matter what Florida does, LSU's going to have their way with it. If there's one team that's going to beat Alabama this year, it's LSU. It's not Texas A&M. It's LSU. I think LSU wins this one in a Big 12 looking game. I think LSU wins this one 56 to probably 38. I'm going to say 56 to 38 LSU.
No way Kyle Trask can hang 40 on LSU. No way.
But if Vanderbilt could do it, I think Florida can do it.
Vanderbilt's got Riley Neal. I'm just kidding.
That's Keyshawn Vaughn.
Can you guys wait for November 9th for the Alabama and LSU? I'm telling you right now, I might cancel my life.
110 to 100, Alabama.
Oh, about the truth though, like no joke.
Yeah.
But anyway, hey, real quick before we go, we got time.
Yeah.
Colt and I were on. Okay, your brother Hudson Haden made us comment in the last show we had that said Kyle Trask is the fourth best quarterback in the SEC.
Joke.
And well, listen, no, me and Colt at work were talking about this, and Colt and we're trying to put somebody in front of him, and we just struggled with it because we want to. We don't think he's the fourth best. I mean, off the jump, we don't think he's the fourth best quarterback in the SEC either. But I mean, who are you going to put in front of him?
That's true, and the sad thing is, SEC quarterbacks out there, guys, this kid was a backup at the beginning of the year, and yeah, now that I think about it, now you said that.
He shouldn't have been, though. He shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
He was better at Felipe Frank.
I agree.
I mean, you got Tua, Burrow, Fromm. Who else, guys? Kellen Mond.
Kyle Trask.
Yeah. That's reasonable. I'm sure Austin King's going to be running around the comment section saying Garrett Schrader. No, I don't think so.
Nope.
Not even close.
I think Kelly Bryant's the only one you can put above.
I think that's about the only one you could put. Yeah, Kelly Bryant's about the only one you can put above Trask.
I would put Kelly Bryant over it. I would put Trask at fifth, I think. But anyway, good show, guys. We're going to have to get off here. We're about out of time. But Colt, thanks for coming on, brother. I hope you had a good time.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited about these games, man. We'll come at you guys later on, probably around Monday with a recap from these games. Excited to watch them. Like and subscribe if you haven't for more content. We're going to try to get these out to you as soon as possible. This video should be up on Friday. Thanks, guys, and we'll talk to y'all soon.